Hello and welcome to the short Vort on Parshas Re'eh. I'm Efraim Levy. This week's Dvar Torah will be based on Minchas Asher by Rabbi Asher Weiss Shlita. Parsha begins, Re'eh Anochi Dosein Lefnechem Hayom Bracha Klala. See that I'm placing before you a blessing and a curse. And the commentators go to town because it begins Re'eh in Lashon singular and Lefnechem becomes a Lashon of plural. So there's a remez that in Gemara Kedushin, a hint, an allusion for us to understand that a person should consider that the world was 50-50 in terms of righteousness, and if he does one act, then it's going to influence the world situation. If he does a mitzvah, the world will be judged favorably. If he does an avera, chas v'shalom, it will be judged unfavorably. So he has to realize his responsibility in regard to the entire world. However, Rabbi Weiss says that Pashtus, in a more simple, direct level, is telling us a different lesson for man, that man should contemplate that, an observant Jew is an observed Jew, that people are looking, whether it's other Jews or non-Jews, that how the person acts. If they see him doing mitzvos, they might be inspired to do well because of him or her. And if the person's davening the kavanah, that can influence other people to say, I'm going to try to do a better kavanah. Unfortunately, this can go in the wrong direction too, and it's important to note the responsibility and the power of each individual. Rabbi Weiss cites the Kosenberger Rebbe, who quoted the Chafetz Chaim, who said that Leon Trotsky, who was part of the communist revolution in Russia in 1917, that he was a yeshiva bacher who he was in a Tashbar yeshiva. His name was Lev Bronstein. And that he had a Rebbe who pushed him off the derech. And he said that the person who pushed him off the derech is not only going to be punished for the lost soul of Lev Bronstein, but he's going to be punished for all the lost Jewish souls, millions of souls in Russia, because of communism that resulted because of Leon Trotsky. Now, of course, the Torah gives us even better when it comes to rewarding is multifold the amount that we get punished. And we see that from in the beginning of Shmos, in Parak Aleph Pasuk Chaf, that it says by the midwives, Vayetev Elokim Layaldos Vayorev Ha'am, that Hashem dealt kindly with the midwives and the people multiplied greatly. That telling us how did Hashem reward them when he saw that they were good and they didn't kill the Jewish babies. He rewarded them by Vayorev Ha'am. He multiplied the people, that so many people were alive because of them, and he considered it their reward in all the generations. Because they didn't kill them, they get credit for all the good deeds and all that comes for pretty much for eternity. Something more down to earth and more in our time is I'm part of a nice chevra for Daf Yomi, that's a global chevra led by Rabbi Eli Stefansky and MDY in Eretz Yisrael out of Ramat Beit Shemesh, and it's a growing group available on YouTube and AllDaf, etc. And there's one person who took the initiative, had an idea, and his name is Yossi from Muncie, and he said, let's give free Gemaras to everyone who are joining for the first time as an incentive for them to commit to join the Daf Yomi. And for Succah, they gave out at least 1,800 new Gemaras throughout the globe, mostly in the US, also in the UK, in Eretz Yisrael, and some other places. And there are people who never learned, haven't learned Gemara in many years, whether decades or longer, or less. And now the people are back and learning, and it's influencing and changing them. But there's one story just in this past week, and you can listen to on the Chaf Gimel thing. It's from a Jeff from California who wrote that, first, I don't consider myself religious, but I was always aware of my Jewish heritage. I spent so much of my time and money searching for something called spirituality, but they were always missing something. There was always so much fluff out there, and there was no substance. I started exploring sites like Sefaria and Torah Anytime to get closer to the source materials and the original text, and not some guru distilling information. I admit I was attracted to the free volume of Talmud, since I never had the opportunity growing up to study this. It was just a set of books I would see in a library. I'm looking forward every day to actually reading a full daf. Even when I get lost, I seem to be able to find my place again very fast. Either I did actually learn something in my Hebrew school as a kid, or the words are truly guiding me back to my roots. Skipping along, I may not understand everything yet, but I know that showing up every day has been one of the best things for me, both physically and spiritually. Best, Jeff R. from California. So we have to realize that, presumably as Jeff progresses and he becomes more religious, and if his family becomes religious, it's all from this idea of one person who came up with the idea, let's give out free Gemaros, and it's changing people's lives for the better. So that's the power and the responsibility of an individual. Take the initiative. You can do something too. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful week and a wonderful Shabbos.